Nerdsplaining podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me is always my co-host, Jose Romero.
Greetings, salutations, Spider-Man fans around the world. New show's out. We're excited. We're going to talk about it. It's been a couple weeks. A lot of Marvel stuff today. It's all Marvel. Marvel all the time.
Listen, 2025 is the beginning of the year of Marvel. 3 movies, like 19 TV shows. It's a lot.
Yeah. And we got one DC. Well, actually, technically, no, Penguin was last year. Yeah, it was last year. So technically, one DC project. Well, Creature Commandos. Or was that last year too?
It technically was last year. It ended in January,
okay.
but it
all right.
but it was really a last year show that kind of just
fair enough.
carried over.
I can't remember when that came out, but whatever. So that said, excuse me, a lot of MCU rumors and kind of news, little things we're gonna touch on. With Daredevil, right? And your favorite, Spider-Man, one of your favorites.
Sure,
everyone's favorites. But we'll start with an interesting, not surprising story, I guess, and that is Armor Wars, which we got an update on.
Ooh.
Which is getting the Blade treatment, apparently. We knew this was.
It's not. It's going to feature a bunch of women, and Rhodey's going to be fifth in line.
Maybe.
Is that what you're talking
about? It's the announcement. I don't know when this originally was announced. I know it was supposed to be a TV show. That was the intention, a series with Don Cheadle reprising the role, of course. And I guess after the release of Secret Invasion, they changed course, and now it was going to be a feature film.
Right.
Whatever the case is and all that. So, okay, fair enough. But now apparently that movie is on hold. The whole project is on hold.
Said no one who knew what was going on, who's been paying attention to Marvel.
Exactly.
Secret Wars.
So,
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, which you shouldn't have paid attention to. Well, that's actually one of the reasons why this is on hold. No big surprise. And this, again, inside information that I heard, whatever, and I saw it somewhere else. But, they knew the results of Secret Invasion was less than stellar in terms. It was the lowest rated TV show. There's been worse, but that was pretty bad.
Sure.
And I guess one of those were, okay, is this a good idea now, given what happened with Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
And it's hard to disagree with that logic. I think that makes sense because if you didn't like Secret Invasion, because apparently they're going to tie into each other. I mean, the result of what happened on that show, I would assume, would have bled into the film, right? I mean, am I wrong? Right. Particularly with the whole, I guess Don Cheadle, he's a squirrel. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Why did that? It was a weird move to pull off.
and even there's still debate even within the people who worked on the show. When did Rhodey get replaced? Was it after Civil War? Was it after Endgame? Like it's no agreement.
And it's really awkward. I don't know why. I mean, we're not gonna go on that show. It was a weird decision, whatever. But obviously, it has ill effects on the rest of the property, I guess. So yeah, this is on hold. And listen, for me personally, I wasn't looking forward to this anyway. I just don't know.
I was kind of looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of looking forward to it. I like Don Cheadle. I like Iron Man.
I love Don
action
Cheadle.
Scenes. So
Don Cheadle's great, but let's be honest. He's an ancillary character. Who he is, it is what it is, right? He's second.
Yeah, he's not S tier.
Correct. Which is why I thought
he's like
it would have been better off as a show.
But a good character.
He's a cool character. I like him. I don't mind that character. He's just not big enough to have his own film. This is a TV show. Right. That makes sense. Okay, sure. Explore deeper, go into the whole thing, no doubt. But to make it into a movie was weird.
And let me just say this statement. It should go without saying. Don Cheadle is a movie actor. Yes.
Of course.
He's a movie actor.
Absolutely.
He is a movie caliber actor. That all being said, Black Monday, that series is on, which was a TV series, was phenomenal, and he kills it on TV too.
Well, listen, we see a lot of these, high name, whatever talent actors do a lot of TV shows. We see it all the time.
Penguin. Colin Farrell.
There you go. That's a good example. Pedro Pascal. We just saw him in Close the Last of Us. I mean, they're not shying away from these projects, especially the good projects, right? So, but I would have bet off as a TV show. I hope that they just scrap it entirely. I mean, they're thinking about they're gonna rework it or change the angle. I just don't know how you change the angle now because.
I mean, you could change an angle. It's really not.
Yes, but then it's not as. What was potentially should have been set up in Secret Invasion, right? Now, if he loses that, what are you doing on this? Like, what's this movie about, right?
Here's the thing: they're going from a presumed slam dunk to convert it to a 3-pointer. It's not going to be as pretty, but it's going to do a lot of heavy work and get you closer to the win. So that's what it's got. You got to treat it like
Yeah.
that.
So, but like I said, it's on hold. So I think they're gonna. I gotta think this is gonna get scrapped. Is it? Listen, when is this movie realistically gonna come out? After Secret Wars, right?
Yeah. So
And by that time, I would assume, I think you and I are on the same page, that how the current world of the MCU is going to change completely, right? So I don't know. Does this really fit into that new world that's going? I don't think it
listen,
does.
listen. It could be retooled to the point that it becomes Iron Man: Armor Wars, and it's the reboot movie for Iron Man as a
That,
character.
you know what? That makes more sense. you know, it does. I mean, right? I mean, whatever. Put Iron Man, the new Iron Man, or whoever, and you know, because I don't see this. I'm assuming things are going to change in the MCU after Secret Wars. Like
Oh yeah,
so I just
the idea of the soft reboot is everywhere.
right.
So
So yeah, I don't know. I don't see how this fits in anymore at that point, right? If you're going to change it, then okay, what's the point now? Whatever. So it's going to get scrapped. So it is what it is. Well, I'm not saying it's going to get scrapped, but let's see. But let's hope for something that does not get scrapped, and that's Daredevil, which we know we're getting a season on, of course.
season 2 is already starting, I believe. It's in pre-production at this point.
Well, it should be starting because apparently the showrunner is the greatest showrunner and of all time. And if you don't believe me, just ask him. Why not? Because he was not shy about talking about his project. And listen, you always take when an actor, a director talks about the project that they're involved in, you take it with a grain of salt. Because again, what else they're gonna say, right? This shit sucks.
Listen, you got
Don't
to be
watch it.
your own show barker. Like, check out the greatest show on earth,
Yeah,
kids. It's
listen,
under the 10 right
I had a
here.
great,
So,
but sometimes it's erring us out of caution, right? You just go with the standard. And we had a great time doing the show. I think people are gonna like it. We enjoy doing it. It's stuff like standard stuff. Like, okay, right? If you're not gonna shit on it, don't praise it as well. We've seen, Flash got a lot of praise, and that didn't turn out how everyone thought it was going
right.
to turn out. James Cameron was praising the other Terminators, and
Tom Cruise is crazy
Tom,
Flash. Like,
right?
oh,
So
greatest. Yeah, blah, blah,
we've
blah,
seen that
blah.
kind of stuff kind of backfire because you just raise expectations, and that's
Right.
necessarily a good thing, right? Go on the radar. What is it? Under promise, over deliver, as they say, right?
Yes.
So showrunner, I forgot his name, but he was doing an interview and all that. I think it's already out. It just came out recently, but he was talking about his show, and apparently, he says this will feature a lot less navel gazing than the original Netflix series. Okay, the earlier show at its best was fantastic. At its worst, it was two characters in a room talking about what a hero is. I'm gonna focus on that first. Because you mentioned it's going to be more action packed and all that. This is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We want more action and no story. It's exactly what he's saying here. And that concerns me. Because the best parts of Daredevil were in the action. And any movie is not the action. Action is just noise if it's not set up accordingly.
Absolutely.
Right? And I love we love good action. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. Those quiet scenes, those scenes where, they're navel gazing, those were the cool scenes of Daredevil, right? A lot of scenes where it's him, struggling with who he is and the religion and Christianity of it all, and then with Foggy and what he thought about it, and the one great rooftop scene with him and Punisher was fantastic.
But okay, but let me just play a devil's advocate. I was recently showing the Daredevil series to a friend of mine because they saw the trailer. They're like, "Oh, this looks cool. What is this?" And I went, "Oh, you never saw the Daredevil series?" And I told them, I said, "You have Disney Plus?" "Yeah." "Oh, it's there. You got to check it out there." And so I decided, let me start rewatching the series as well. Mm-hmm. And I love the Daredevil series. As you know, my son's middle name is Murdoch, so the love is there. In rewatching the series after so many years of not watching it, is it so great? Does it hold up? Absolutely. But there are moments where I feel it was a little slow. There are moments where I felt like there was a momentum and they, on purpose, brought it down a gear because they, for whatever the creative decision was for it. It didn't ruin it, but I would have liked the pace to kept accelerating at what I thought it should at that point of the story. Daredevil season 3 nails it. But Daredevil season 1 as a growing pain, It has that. Daredevil season 2, being honest,
Season 1
the
does,
first 4
but I
and
think
the last 4 are great, and the middle
the
kind
middle
of
was
gets a
the
little
long. Well, I
wobbly.
always said the series was just too long. Not because it was the pacing. It was 13 episodes, was too long
Right, and I think
for any
that's
TV
why
show,
it's for
right?
13.
Exactly. And I said that,
Right,
and I said
and
that
I
from the beginning. Right when they were trying to do 20, I was like, that's a huge mistake.
right, absolutely,
And
and
but
I
you were
think what
against that. No, you and my brother were like, nah, 20 episodes. No, it's
yeah,
nonsense.
like
No,
I
because
just wanted good TV. I don't
20
care.
episodes doesn't work anymore in television. It just doesn't.
You're absolutely right. I
So
listen. I can admit when
yeah,
I'm
no, it's
wrong.
fine.
I'm saying you're right about.
But I always said 13 was too long for that show. I think
I always feel like 13
yeah,
was like the max amount that's
was
doable.
the
Any
max.
more than that is
Right,
too
was the
much.
max. But I think that
But
show
13 is the
was
max.
like 8 to
8,
10.
9 is
Yeah,
solid.
8 to 10
Like
for
that
that
is
show would have been perfect, right? Now that was
absolutely.
my only gripe. So if you tighten it up, would have been great. What I'm asking,
And
I got a question real quick. But do you think it was a dark show?
I thought it was a psychologically dark show with few dark moments.
Okay.
Like action wise, there was a few dark moments, but it was
Well,
more
forget the action,
introspective.
right? Just more just to show itself in terms of thematically, and I guess, I mean, because he brought this up. He's saying that he said that the Netflix show was dark cinematically, not story wise, not necessarily story wise. I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with that either because there was a lot of especially once again pivoting to season 3. Season 3 was a lot. It was very dark, and
Yes.
from Matt's world, literally.
Correct. Okay. Yes.
So,
Because he made that comment. So, okay. That seemed odd.
but
Um.
I think I felt like he was talking more of like season 1 and not
I.
the whole series.
It's not specified. Like, we're talking the series as a whole because he could have said that. Could
Right.
have said started off with, but then according to him, it was not dark. Okay. That again, that's a concern because that just shows poor judgment. Um. And it makes you question: does he really know what dark means? It's not blood and gore. That's not dark. That's just graphic. You can have a lot of
Right.
funny movies show you a bunch of gore. It's the tone of the show that dictates whether it's dark or not, right? In some sense. Um, he compared.
Well, I think that what, and this is me just thinking, is like, uh, out of all 3 seasons, season 3 was the darkest for Matt,
Sure.
and only because he had a crisis of faith over should he kill the Kingpin. That
Correct.
was the
Yeah.
the big issue for season 3. I took his comments of like it's his show is going to be better as opposed to Naval Gazers because they're tightening up 13 to 9. So I think in terms of condensing the pacing of story, a lot more is going to happen because you've cut 4 episodes out.
It really depends on. We go back to pacing because he kept saying action a lot. And listen, I don't want. This is not an action show, right? There's a lot of things with action. It's a show with a lot of interesting themes in it that's got some action spots. This is still a superhero
Yeah.
film, a show at the end of the day. He compared this to the Penguin. That's
Which also does not have a lot of action. It is more dark,
well, no, but
character.
when he's talking about his show, he brought it up against Penguin, his version of Daredevil, the
Okay.
new version of Daredevil.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but even Penguin was not an
Right, Penguin's
action-packed
not,
show.
but he's saying, but not as far as action. He's saying he considers Penguin our direct competition. His words.
I mean, that's great. That's a great standard to be against.
However, we're more grounded, which is a ridiculous statement. Because Penguin's as grounded as it gets. Because guess what? There's no superheroes in it.
That's true.
You can't have it's a grounded Daredevil doesn't exist. A grounded Daredevil is a Daredevil who can see, or a blind
Right.
man who can't fight. I mean, just by that sense, you're gonna have to suspend disbelief. There's some element of fantasy. It just is, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You still want your superhero to be super, right, or whatever. Otherwise, what's the point of watching?
I think what he meant is in their world there wasn't a supervillain who flooded the city, so that's pretty they're more grounded. It's just corrupt.
I mean, so it's a weird statement. He said it's less stylized. I didn't realize Penguin was stylized. This guy's really
Oh,
off.
the Penguin was stylized. Penguin was very stylized.
First of all, every show stylized.
Well, I mean, because they had to show a world that had been taken to the brink. Their city said so. That's why it was stylized.
Stylized to me is a certain look, aesthetic on the show. But there'd be a lot more the editing, the fast paceness of the shots, bright lights, or whatever.
I'll put it this way.
Like Miss Marvel, the very first episode, all the little things. That's style. That's stylized.
That is not. No, I'll put it this way. Daredevil looks like, in terms of just visuals, it looks like a Law and Order, very clean cut. This is the city, people in the city doing a thing. Penguin, there was a 60-40 where everything just looked dirty and sticky. And I think that's part of their style, is to show that as you went further down the level of like finances, the grimier people got. And I think that's what he means to sort of stylized. Where in this one, it's going to be like,
I guess I just don't know. Like, if we have to infer what he's saying, he's doing a bit piss poor job of articulating his point, right?
Fair,
you know, because we can. He meant that. Well, maybe I don't. I wasn't there. maybe he said something else. We weren't there, right?
But remember, he's a showrunner. He's not the director. The directors are going to add all the visual flares.
But the showrunner is the director of the show.
Well, the showrunner is making sure you're sticking to the script and the idea of what they're trying to.
Ideas and all that. I know every show, but you still control even the style, because it has to be consistent episode. So you can have these directors do what the hell they want.
Right.
To give it their own flair. It has to look the same, like Kevin Feige, right?
But would you consider the first 3 seasons of Daredevil stylized?
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
It's not stylized. It's very direct.
Direct. But, I mean, it's the style. But a style. When you say stylized, you don't say it's just, because then everything has stylized.
I feel like if you're doing a very direct shot, that in a sense is a style. It's just a very clean style.
It's all style. Every movie show has its own style. But when you say stylized, you're referring to something beyond that.
Like
you're adding
Seven
flair
and Fight Club. Those are stylized.
That's an example of stylized, right?
Right.
Different than what Penguin gave you. That's his example. It's not the same thing.
I feel like Penguin had moments where it felt very Hitch, very like
it was a crime drama.
Finch, sorry, very very grimy, and that's what to me like that's what he meant by the style.
The world under in, that's just
right.
But what was part of style? I mean, this is semantics, obviously. But he did say he loves Penguin, but he said we're faster, meaner, and cleaner in our storytelling.
I look forward to that. That's a bold statement. But here's the thing: if you're gonna talk that talk,
you better walk the walk. That's what I'm saying, right? And that's what I'm saying. But don't write those checks. Relax and look. Listen. He could be absolutely right. Right? Who knows?
Right.
I'd be shocked that this show is even mentioned anywhere. Who's ever even heard the term Emmy? You heard Emmy? Then you don't watch it. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, let's just be honest.
I have to disagree with it, because I feel like the first 3 seasons of Daredevil should have been Emmy'd, and it did not.
That might be fair, but were they?
They were not. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Those
shows generally don't get the respect.
You put season 3 of Daredevil up against Penguin, and I feel like they're pretty good contenders. Like, both of them at least should be nominated. Obviously, they have to win, but both should be nominated. And Daredevil was not. I think the only reason Penguin was nominated because it was on HBO and Colin Farrell's on it. That's the only reason why he got nominated. If it would have been Netflix or something like that, nothing. No matter how good it is, nothing.
That's not flying. Because we have a lot of Netflix shows that get nominated all the time.
But not a street one like this. That's what I'm saying. I think it's because it was Colin Farrell and HBO elevated it to getting the nom. That's my opinion.
I guess, but
the quality be the same. Nothing's different. Just on a different service, that would have been
maybe. Well, I can speculate, or I can just go to the results.
I mean, yeah, right. I get it.
And I'm saying, if you're gonna put yourself to the Penguin, your ass better get nominated for Emmys. That's how good this show needs to be.
I agree. But
if you said I'm aspiring to be like Penguin, now we're having a conversation of what he should
here's
be
the thing,
saying,
like,
right?
But
He's saying his show is better. He didn't.
Like I said,
better.
Season 3 of Daredevil is on par, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is on par with the Penguin, and it did not get nominated. So to me, it's more of like the who you know versus what you did kind of thing.
That could be fair, but this guy's talking about the show he actually did, not about the show someone else did 10 years ago.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Listen, but I'm saying he's setting us up now to saying his words, his show is better than Penguin, and I hope it is. So that's a good thing.
I mean, everybody hopes it is.
But now
we all want good TV.
The expectations are now here, and now we want this show to be better than Penguin because he's saying it. It's
Yes.
like saying, "Oh, I'm
Yes.
gonna go out and win the Super Bowl, and I don't win it." You failed.
You hear that,
Sorry,
Chief?
you fail, right? It's that simple. You're writing checks here, you know. So it just kind of odd. I think he got a little he's got a little excited. You got to promote your stuff, of course, but you have to be
Sure.
reasonable what you say, right? It's like
You
saying,
know what?
"Oh, I'm
It's
gonna be
one of
in
the
next Game
reasons.
of Thrones." Your ass better be in next Game of Thrones.
It's one of the reasons why I love Feige's way of promoting. Very humble, literally hat in hand sometimes. They're like,
Yeah,
we did a really good movie. I hope you guys like it. Like, that's smart.
and that's standard industry wording, right? That's what you should
Uh
be saying. And James Gunn, take note because you don't want you to fall in the rabbit hole.
huh.
Those are things you want to hear, right? Don't get the fans pumped up because listen, let's be honest. The fans, the scrutiny of these shows amongst the fandom is the worst. We're the worst. We are the worst. As I'm saying, collective, right?
Absolutely.
We're the worst. We'll
Absolutely.
destroy something. God forbid if we don't like it, we nail it to the wall and we praise it to high heaven almost overtly if we think it's good. It's just how it works. So when you set it up, there's a group of haters and with DC Marvel, those haters out there, and they're just pouncing. Oh, Penguin! Oh my God! Forget it. Nowhere close.
Let me
This
just tell
guy,
you something.
the nerve.
The longer I am a comic book movie nerd, the more William Dafoe's speech from the first Spider-Man movie rings in my ear. Like, they'll love you at first. They don't want to take you down.
Telling these people, we're the worst. Well, comic book fans are the worst. Let's be honest.
Really are.
They
Yeah.
really are, and I get very invested, so I get understand.
I
We
mean,
love these shows, so yeah.
individually, some of the best people you're ever
Oh
going
no,
to meet.
of
But
course.
as a group, it's just
Oh man,
massive maw of mouths and hands and critiques. It's just
just
crazy.
vile hate, man. Oh my God, and it goes both ways, right? It's just the
Yeah,
over
absolutely.
positive and the hate. It's there, so it is what it is. But listen, I hope I hope this guy was honest and he's the greatest show I've ever seen. Of course, we want to see that. Of
We're getting
course.
closer to it, man. March 4th, right
It's
there.
right around the corner, so I know you. I mean, you're a bigger Daredevil fan. I am. I know you're
Oh,
super excited
dude,
about this. So
super
I
excited.
hope it lives up. I really do. Because this one, I don't think if it's just okay, I'll be disappointed. I think you'll be disappointed if it's like, yeah, it's fine. Am I wrong?
I, if it was just fine, I'd be bummed.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's gonna hit you
Like,
more, right?
yeah,
Yeah, of course. I get it,
yeah,
and I
it
get
really
it.
would.
Understand,
And,
100%.
and not for nothing. Listen, I love Daredevil. Like I said, son's middle name Murdoch. I'm not really liking the current run on Daredevil right now.
Okay.
And instead of going, oh, they're ruining the character, I'm like, no, just I don't like this character
Sure.
here right now. Maybe later on I'll like him. So if the series isn't good, I'm like, that's fine. I'll just rewatch season 1, 2, and
There
3,
you go.
and I'll appreciate this, and that'll be
Of course,
fine
but I mean,
too.
you're gonna
But if
be,
I can be like awesome,
of course,
then
of course.
yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be, and I get it. You should be bummed because I know with the shows that I
Oh
like,
yeah.
I get it.
I mean, I'll survive,
Oh, of course.
but I'll be sad a little bit.
Damn it, this guy lied. Last story here. This is a pure rumor story. We're just catching some traction, right? Nothing's confirmed. Just it's been tossed into the ether, as it were. So we got the Russo brothers, of course, working hard, hopefully on Doomsday and Secret Wars coming after that in 2027. So now apparently they've been linked, have been tapped or whatever, linked to be tapped to take over the X-Men franchise, to helm the next franchise and bring it into whatever the next generation of it. Purely a rumor. So two things here. I don't think this is true, to be honest with you. Well, and
Okay.
I hope it's not true, for two
All
reasons.
right.
One, if this is true, we're gonna get X-Men 2030 at this point, because
Possibly.
that's a long time from now, right? Because they're the ones
Okay.
they have to wait. They got there's two big projects
I
tomorrow. Plus, they got another project they're working on, by the way, that's coming out before, in between, and after. So they're working a lot of
I
films.
I don't think they're going to direct. I think they're going to. You know how like Nate Moore was producing like Black Panther and the Captain America. He had a section of the Marvel Universe to producing. I think they're going to help produce the X-Men movies. They're not going to direct it. And if they do direct, they'll direct the X-Men's version of the big X-Men movie. You know, like they're like
Well,
Dark Phoenix Saga. I feel like that's the thing they're
I
going to
get
do.
if they decide to. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if I want to say Phoenix Saga. We've seen it so many times already.
I mean, I just threw out there, but if
No,
you
I
do
know,
like
I get it.
Krakoa, like House of X,
Sure.
Age of Apocalypse, whatever that's going to
I
be
mean,
the big
I
storyline.
guess, but I mean, them as producers, the horror producers. I mean, they just dog shit. Let's just be honest. They're crap. And what I need then we get Kevin Feige. Right.
But that's the thing. If Feige is spread thin, You bring these guys in to do this section. Feige does the other section.
Again,
They report to Feige.
the better producers out there who you don't know, the ones you don't know are the good ones for the most part, right?
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
Kathleen Kennedy was
But
fantastic too. No one knew who she was. She was fantastic as a producer. Need I go on with that, right? We've seen it happen 1,000 times, right? And Russo's
sure.
have produced stuff in the past, and it's dog shit, a big fat piece of crap that they've done over and over again outside of
I
Marvel.
liked Extraction. I like
So,
Extraction. I actually enjoyed Gray Man. Not great, but I thought it was
I thought
fun.
they directed that one. Did they direct that one?
I think they directed that
Okay,
one. Yeah,
well then that's even. Well, that's not producing. Then that's directing. Different thing.
that's
Although, but
directing. Yeah.
again, directing or producing, Marvel has been the only thing that's good that they've done consistently. Is that fair to say? Okay,
Yes,
there we go.
very.
Okay, there we go. Right? I mean,
I
it's
will
a
agree
good
with that.
marriage
Yeah,
with them between the Marvel. So
absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to because I don't want to wait 2029 or 30 to get damn X-Men. That's like Jesus Christ, 6 years from now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel after Secret Wars, I'm willing to wait the most 3 years, not to start production, to see an X-Men movie.
Right, which would be 2029, 2030.
That's
That's a long
I'm
time,
good
man.
with that. I'm good with that.
That's a long time. Or,
Listen,
but this is what I'm saying, right? Let's just so you want X-Men to do the first thing out of the gate, right? After
sure,
okay, so
right.
guess what? Get a director who can direct it. What these idiots are doing, Secret Wars, and then when it comes out 2028,
I mean, that would be dope too.
that would be better.
But
That'd be better. Because these guys honestly probably won't start filming to 2028. It's always usually it's
fair.
about 2 years from filming a movie that's of a scope like I assume X Men is going to be 2030. That's a long time. And now what happens in between is now like okay, so what's the MCU doing? Are we really doing X Men? Are we doing X Men in this Marvel world that we know? This should be start over with the X Men, what I've been saying from the get
I
go.
disagree. I said they
The
should put it all
get
together.
go.
Everyone lives together in a happy submarine. Everyone there. That's how they should do it.
And I'm sure a lot of minds will think that way. The same people who gave us 20 episodes of Daredevil before they changed their minds.
That's not.
The
That's
same
not the
people
same.
who thought Secret
That's not
Invasion
the
was
same.
going to be good and whatever.
That was optimistic hope. That was
Um,
like
the
believing that the rebellion's gonna win.
the proper things to give us an X-Men thing. So and listen, and honestly, I don't want the Russo brothers to do it. I want other directors and get their.
I agree. But I would not mind if the Russo
If they
brothers
did like
were the producers on it. But I don't want them to direct it.
if they can direct, no. But as far as the first one, get someone else a chance. Let's get a different look. Cause this is just gonna look at all the other Marvel stuff. There should be something different
Sure.
about it. I mean, am I wrong?
I,
There, right?
I, I agree.
And I think
I agree. I would like the X-Men to feel a little dirtier.
right, a little
I think
different,
that.
right? And get to
Yeah.
somebody else to over some. That's why I really don't want them to do it anyway, because I'd rather have a new director, a new vision,
Fair.
whatever, to kind of
Right.
give us something different. Because this is something different for Marvel, right? So,
Right.
I hope this doesn't really come. I mean, if they want to be involved producers, fine, whatever, right? Or overseeing or whatever, showrunners for this. And I did hear another thing that I don't know if this is true or not. This hasn't been said anywhere, but I talked to somebody and he says he's heard this bounced around about the idea of building up to an X-Men film, right, or ensemble film by starting with individual films of a particular character.
That'd be kind of cool too.
That'd be
I've heard that idea.
Horrendous idea. I forget the creative part, just from a business standpoint. And I'm about 99% right, like I usually am when it comes to box office. No one will give a fuck
Okay.
about a Beast movie. No one will give a fuck about
No,
a
no,
Cyclops
not of every X-Men. Not of every
the only
X-Men.
one that works is Wolverine, and nobody wants to see Wolverine, and that's a dangerous thing to start with. We just got Hugh Jackman.
I
Do you
honestly
really want that Wolverine?
look. Here's what I would do. How I would do it. Okay, check it out. You do a movie. You do a Gambit movie, not Channing Tatum, by the way. I love Channing. He was great
It was
in the
great.
Dead.
No doubt.
You do a Gambit movie. You do a movie with Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Mystique, because Mystique is Rogue's adoptive mom, and she's Mystique's biological mom /
You're
dad.
saying,
And you
wait, all these together or Gambit one?
no Gambit one, but Rogue, Nightcrawler, Mystique as another, like all
Another
three of them
film.
as a movie,
Okay.
because and you see how like Mystique tried to be a good mom with Nightcrawler, screwed up, and then she breaks bad, and then she adopts Rogue. Rogue starts Breaking Bad too, but Rogue reminds her that she can't be bad all the time, so she tells Rogue to leave, and so Rogue now is off in the world. And then you do a Cyclops Havoc movie with Mister Sinister being the guy in charge of the orphanage that they were in, and that's how he becomes obsessed with the Jean Grey Cyclops genetics they'll make Cable in the future. And then you do an X-Men movie where they come together with Professor X and they're recruiting Wolverine. That's the movie.
I
That's how
like
you make
I
the
like
movie.
the third part of that because that's the one actually starts as what X Men should always have started and has started with great success. They are the X Men from the beginning. People already know the X Men. We know who they are, right? People want to see the ensemble
Sure,
of the X Men. That you
sure.
don't do individual film. A Gambit will never work. 10 people will go see that film. Let's just call it what it is, right?
If you make Gambit, honestly,
Nobody will go watch it. It's
listen, if you make Gambit almost like in terms of intensity, like a Born Identity, great.
Well, it's like
That's
it's like saying, well, make it like the Godfather. Yeah, there you go. I mean, you can any listen. Marvel hasn't done anything close to that, so why are we even pretending that they will? Because they're not. That's not their style, and I get it.
but listen, if you're gonna break the mold and do something new, that would be the way to do it. You have
I
Gambit,
just
do it.
not from. I'm thinking financially, it doesn't make sense. They're not going to do well. It just won't do well, and those are all expensive films. They just are. Um,
But if you do like if you do Gambit as a heist movie on the
it has
run,
to be a character that people will go watch. That's gonna get Wolverine with the only one of the few, maybe Professor X potentially, maybe. Wolverine is the one's gonna draw the crowds. We know this. They're gonna draw the crowds. It's Wolverine. That's the character we've seen where people love Wolverine. No one loves Gambit. No one loves No one gives a
a
fuck
lot of
about
people
these
love
guys.
Gambit. A lot of people love
They
Gambit.
love
Let's
Gambit
be
after they
honest. A
saw
lot
they
of people
saw
love
this guy.
Gambit.
Now that they're doing a bait and switch on us, they're gonna be hating it because it's not Channing Tatum, right? I mean, let's what is not Channing? We know how nerds go. We know how they go. We know what they're gonna say, right? We know Channing
Yes.
Tatum. We wanted him. Oh, disaster, right? It's just bad press. It's not gonna work. It will never work. It's just I just don't see him. It has to be an ensemble. If you want to do four or five together and do another five and then come, that will work, right? Still call it X Men, but more of an origin ish, I guess. I don't know. Focus on Professor X and a couple of them they recruiting, whatever. I don't know. Introduces Sinister. That's I love Sinister. Introduce him in there as the big baddie down the road, and you set all that up, but it's still kind of an ensemble film. It's like Guardians would have come out with Quill as a movie, then Drax. That never would have worked.
But to be fair,
Never would have worked.
Gambit, Nightcrawler, Rogue have more Q appeal than Star Lord did at the time. You
That
see what
is
I'm saying?
fair, but those movies, even now, if you just a Star Lord movie by itself, will nowhere be near as successful as like Guardians and some. We just won't. And we know Star Lord now, right? If they were to reboot Guardians of the Galaxy in 10 years, and so okay, we're
Right.
doing a Drax first, it just doesn't work. We want to see the Guardians. We know what they're about,
Right.
right?
But here's the reason why I thought like either movies or small like if they did like Marvel one shots, those
Now, if
specials
it's
they
doing
were
like a
doing.
special, that's a different story. That's
Right,
different.
but you do like an hour, like it's
Yeah,
almost a movie, like an hour and 15,
sure.
like
But
almost a
on
movie, right?
Disney Plus, I assume you're saying.
Right,
Yeah,
Disney Plus, absolutely, absolutely.
that's fine.
And you knock those out,
Sure.
then you do a movie like that. I'll consider that still the same equivalent. Like do a TV series,
I
do a
don't think
one
it's the
shot,
same
set them
because
up.
I mean I'm just strictly speaking financially what makes sense, and not to damage the brand because you don't want to because if you come when it flops right DC just went through it right even Marvel's kind of going through it with their box office Deadpool notwithstanding has not been as what it used to be
Right.
right so you don't want to put 3 or 4 movies and underperform people not excited.
But if you do the one shots
No,
in
no, no.
TV
That's what I'm
series, it's
saying.
sort of
If you can do it as
right.
I doubt they're gonna do that. I don't know if they're gonna introduce X Men like that. Maybe. I think they're gonna focus on. I mean, they gotta come guns blazing,
Because
right? This is
here's
the X Men, gun blazing. Here's
here's
a film. Let's go.
here's the way it works around because everyone wants to see the X-Men, right? They want to see that ensemble team.
Of course.
But if you laid but what made the Avengers so great is that everyone had their own movie adventures. So when they talked and did things and referenced things, we're like, oh yeah, like in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the fun thing. So if you have these one shots and maybe like one or two TV series you can watch when you're doing it, you don't have to worry about like, oh, this is this guy. You can just watch it, and every nerd who already knows it is like, cool. We cut all that setup and we're going into it. And anyone who doesn't know what's going on, you can watch the series now. It's essentially it would be what they wanted to do with Disney Plus shows in the first place, which is a TV series, set it up, the movie just takes the adventure, and they dropped the ball on that. But maybe because of they're like, oh, we should have done it like this.
That will work, I think, better. I don't know if they're gonna actually do that, but I wouldn't hate that idea. I was like, okay, we'll do a TV show about Gambit and we'll set these characters up. And fair enough, right? Get some excitement.
Right.
And, hey, now we're coming together, and the casual fan who may not watch these shows on Disney Plus, they know what X-Men is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna watch it, and they're not gonna miss anything by not seeing the shows. That's the way it should be set up, right? They shouldn't be dependent on the shows, right? It's just
absolutely the show should enhance what they're watching, but not make it. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what made the Avengers movie so good. The previous movies it enhanced the movie on a second watch if you've never seen it. But you could just watch the Avengers as is and get the gist.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
and that's all you want.
I agree with that. I think you could. That definitely works. So that works. So, but listen, we'll see. I mean, I said this. Russo's was just a rumor. That doesn't mean nothing, right? It doesn't make it perfectly clear. I'm sure we're gonna get announcements soon. I gotta think this is already. I say pre-production is the right word, but in development, that's the right word. It has to be at this point, right? I mean.
It's definitely in pre-production. It's definitely in pre-production. It's beyond development. Maybe
it's a script.
They already hired the writer to start working on the movies, the script. So it's already in pre-production.
I guess that technically is pre-production, technically speaking. So I mean, let's see. I mean, we'll find out soon enough. I don't think we're gonna get an announcement this year, though.
I think we will closer to the end of the year.
Maybe at D23.
Yeah, I think at D23. Maybe, yeah. Well, no, actually, if they're smart, they will make the announcement after Doomsday releases.
So next year.
Next year. Okay. Next year. Yeah, because you get Doomsday out of the way, everyone's super Secret Wars, and they're like, hey guys, we're not going to even let you know what's going to, but here are the dates, and just going to show you dates. And you're like, what's that? He goes, we'll tell you after Secret Wars, but they're already working on it.
Oh, no, they're working on it, yeah. Which is why I don't think Russo Brothers directed. This is no time to get it out.
No,
when they get out 2027,
I think Russo Brothers produce or executive produce, but they're not directing.
Which really means nothing. They're working on these movies those movies take time, man. It take a couple of
years.
Yeah,
I get it.
And he's like Event Films, man. And I got it.
Listen, Marvel is paying them like $100 million. They can invest $40 million into it and get like another 300 in like the next 10 years. It's beautiful.
You go for it. Yeah, they're getting paid. They're getting the bag. That's for sure. So let's see. So we'll stay tuned. I guess, but you're right. 2 years, I think, is the sweet spot for it.
And by the way, speaking of production, just a quick shout out: Supergirl's officially into production, which means we're one day closer to Jason Momoa as Lobo, and I'm super excited. And the movie's based off Tom King's graphic novel, which is one of the best graphic novels I read last year or 2 years ago. So yeah,
I don't think there's any doubt that we're gonna get Supergirl. That's not a trailer per se or footage or something at Comic-Con.
I think so. I think so.
We started in January, so it's a 3-month shoot. So done by March? Early April. So that gives them 2 or 3 months to get some stuff together. Yeah. Oh, wait, don't get me wrong. We're gonna get a sneak peek of Lobo's picture because that's gonna leak at some point.
Absolutely.
Who are we kidding?
Absolutely.
Who are we kidding? Set photos. We're gonna see all that now.
What are you talking about? Leak? It's gonna be Jason Momoa taking a selfie. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah. Talking about.
Of course, we saw a quick snippet of Supergirl. I forgot her name. That she took a picture of.
The girl from House of Dragon.
Millie Alcock. Is that her name?
Millie Alcock. I think
they're picture on set or something. So,
sitting on the chair.
Yeah, kind of cool. We're gonna get some stuff here. But
by the way, I know we're wrapping up, but speaking of Supergirl, what did you think? I know you don't watch more than the primary trailers. You hear the controversy of the Superman shot in the new trailer?
I did see it only because it was like everyone told me it's the exact same footage minus like 1-2 scenes, right? So all right, but
one scene
I
added
do want to see the new Superman trailer because at first it's a teaser. I see the teaser.
Yeah.
I see the first one, which is suitable.
Sure.
Right? People talking made a huff about that one shot with the kind of like GoPro camera.
Right.
I guess. I was okay with it. I didn't get the.
I mean, listen. I literally went like, cool angle switch. I like that. Yeah. That was really cool.
The back angle
but
looked
the Superman flight
looked different.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the Superman fight was essentially Adam Warlock from Guardians 3,
yeah,
and no one complained about that. So like, what are we doing,
what do
guys?
we say about the fans? This is that is a clear example of the overreaction that happens in these things. It is what it is. This is the world we live in, right? They want to. It was like 2 seconds, a second maybe. I don't even know. And all this fuss. Can we see it in context? Let's relax. I don't think the CG
Just
looked
watch the
bad.
movie, guys.
I mean, his face looked a little off because it's got I don't like that kind of shot personally.
Right.
But whatever. But yes, it created a choice he made, and that's fine. I don't think it looked bad. I don't want to see him flying all the time like that.
Right. Right.
If it's just like one shot here, one shot, fair enough, and change the angle, edit it, great. But yeah, people make you need to calm the fuck down. Like, relax, man.
Yeah, I mean,
relax.
If they were complaining about
Christ.
this as Guardians 3, I'm like, oh, didn't James Gunn learn this is a problem?
Right, exactly.
But like, no one cared
Nobody
before, so what's
cared.
the big? Yeah,
well, I mean, I guess
cool,
it's
man.
Superman, so whatever. It draws more attention. I get it.
I guess
it's
so.
a difference between Adam Warlock and Superman. It's
Yeah.
not the same world. But people like complain. Oh my God, they can't help themselves. Can we get at least the first trailer and then when I complain? Fair enough. Once we know what the story is, what he sounds like, let's see him in motion. We haven't seen any of that. I mean, the one shot with the girl was great. That was a cool shot. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna lie. Yeah, people need to calm down. Let's get it back. We're crazy, dude. We're fucking nuts, man. Last thing here was something that the nerds should be happy about. At least from what I hear, anyway. And that's Spider-Man, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman. Of course, dropping 2 episodes on Disney Plus. Animated, not. I mean, I don't think this takes place in an Elseworld or whatever you want to call it, right? Or,
it's a multiverse
thing, whatever the hell, whatever,
yeah.
Right? So it's not Tom Holland, none of that. It's not that version of the Spider-Man we
Right.
know. Dropping 2 episodes, short, which I expected animation.
Yeah.
I dug this, dude. I really did. I dug it. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But I think Marvel has proven to do better animated shows than live action. Am I wrong here? I mean, I don't know. If there's like even X-Men '97, right?
No, but yes.
Well,
but
X-Men
no,
'97
but yes.
was really good.
X-Men was great. Yeah.
I mean, what if it's fine? It's good.
I'll tell you what. I actually had a little bit of I love the character designs.
As far as the
I had a
animation
little bit of a problem.
Like
I had a problem with the animation when people are talking, but the action scenes looked really smooth and cool. I love the framing devices of like actual comic book frames coming in.
Like that.
But there are times where they're talking that I'm just like, that looks a little off.
It looks like
I don't know why.
Like old school. I don't know if it's done on purpose. I don't know because the animation is more classic hand drawn, like more like 80s style. Like X-Men did it because obviously this showed that continuation.
But the X-Men looked really good.
It looked good.
And I was like, that looks great.
But
and I don't know if
it was
because
the same
of the
style as the 90s version because it had to be
right. I mean,
right?
in my opinion, it was better than in the 80s.
And the technology's improved, but I mean, the same style animation was used.
Right? Very similar, but like Spider-Man, the characters, especially with they're talking, they have the close up like a close up shot of the face. It looked a little off. It almost looked a little flash animation-y, and I was like, that's kind of weird.
Fair.
And then they're moving. I'm like, that's awesome.
It's
but
fair.
So, like, it was really
a small thing, but I get it, and
it's small.
I don't disagree. I agree with that. 100%.
Story-wise, really fun.
It was fun. It was
really
entertaining.
Fun.
I like that we did it. At first, I'm like, when I like when we saw the spider when they showed Doctor Strange come out and a version of him, whatever, which is cool. We saw the spider. I'm like, oh, we're doing this. I'm like, we were in an origin story. I'm like, but they kind of just fast forward the origin, right? He got bit, and now it's 5 months later, whatever, and now he's doing what he does.
And
right?
that spider did not die.
It
went up in somebody's backpack.
I don't know. Maybe you caught something.
Oof.
I didn't catch it. Maybe you knew who the girl was. I don't know. Maybe she's gonna be somebody else.
Well, it's supposed to be
Spider-Girl, maybe.
In the comics. It's supposed to be a girl who becomes Silk, and she was another person who got bit by the spider.
Okay.
It's an Asian American, which it was a show that they were going to do on Amazon. Remember they were going to do a Silk, the Amazon show.
Were they going to stop that? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
I think they did because they pivoted to Spider-Man Noir.
Right. Nicolas Cage.
But that Silk is the second person who gets bit by the spider, then the spider dies.
I assume.
But I couldn't tell if the person who walked away was a guy or a girl. I couldn't tell.
I thought it was a girl. I mean, I could be wrong. It was really quick, but maybe it's not. But obviously, I'm sure that's being set up. But I'm glad they skipped over that. He's got to learn how to be Spider-Man and jump. We get there like that, right? Thank you.
And he's still learning. He's still
learning, but I'm saying, he's comfortable, with the suit or homemade suit, and he's got
Yeah.
his web things and all that.
I will say I love the fact that, first of all, shout out Benedict Cumberbatch doing a voice of Doctor Strange
Yeah.
in a cartoon, super awesome. But I love the fact that because that interdimensional battle happened, Peter had to go to like a regular high school, and that's why his tech is downgraded because he didn't have all the advanced tech that Midtown Ohio was gonna have. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like that.
No,
It's kind of
it's
fun.
nice stuff. It was funny. It was, I mean, like the whole. I thought for a second like, it was a swerve when it shows Harry Osborn, and we thought it was gonna be like Iron Man because it was almost the same
Well,
scene.
we knew that was coming from the jump, but I love the fact that it was almost an exact shot of Civil War with that pivot. I was like, all right, kind of cool. I like that.
That was cool. It was like, oh, okay, they didn't go that route. Thank God, right? I didn't want to see that again either. Can we just not have a Spider-Man in Spider-Man, please, Iron Man? But
I did like the fact that they showed that as smart as Osborn is, he's still not as smart as Tony Stark, because Tony figured out Peter was Spider-Man, and Osborn just wanted Peter to be part of his internship. And I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
He finds
out. It's there, but not there.
He finds out because I guess Peter didn't realize that a
building
like that is not secured. Whatever. But yes, we get left in a little cliffhanger, I guess, if you will. But I like what's going, man. I don't know what the big baddies. I mean, I saw a quick snip in the trailers. I didn't really see a trailer for this, to be honest with you.
There's some baddies. They have the Doc Ock is going to show up.
Okay.
Scorpion is going to show up in the suit. Doesn't look because they showed him in the suit. I don't know if it's the same way they showed him in a Homecoming. Who knows? Obviously, right. Norman Osborn, Green Goblin it up. Also, Lonnie Lincoln, that football player that's dating the girl that Peter's going to crush on. He becomes Tombstone. If you remember the Spectacular Spider-Man, that big, tall albino dude who was at that concrete white skin. That's Lonnie Lincoln. Yeah. In the comics, he is an albino black guy, and so that's why he's got So something's gonna, and it shows that he's grown up in a bad neighborhood. Cops are already checking out just because he's black. His family's struggling. He's trying to do right, which means when he breaks bad, it's gonna be even worse.
We knew it was a setup for something. He likes Peter. The good, he's a cool guy.
And by the way, shout out to Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman. Keeping it real, where Peter likes the mulattas. It's great. It started with Liz Allen, then he had MJ. MJ's not there, so he had his old babysitter. I'm like, look at that, knock it down.
Pivot up.
He likes little café con leche. I'm digging it. Cool.
It was good. Like I said, they did a really good job. It's, like I said, it's not the greatest thing we've ever seen, but it's a good show, man. It's fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
I hope. It set up the table for it to be a really cool show if it can hit it right,
Yeah. And there's been tons of guest appearances. Yeah. You had Nora Miniko, who is part of the Runaways, and also she's part of the current Ultimate X-Men run done by Peach Monaco, which is actually really cool. It's a little bit of slow burn, but it's really solid. When he gets hired into Oscorp, Amadeus Cho becomes the incredibly awesome Hulk, and his mom is actually in Avengers Age of Ultron. She's the woman who developed that artificial skin that makes Vision. That's his mom.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Oh.
So those are, and I believe that the girl with the short hair is another character. Oh, and also you see, they did a gender swap with Doc Connors. Yeah. And so and also the guy who is their professor, he is the Fantastic Four villain, the Wizard. So there's a bunch of characters they're just throwing at you. And I don't know about that one girl who's from Wakanda, but she's from Wakanda. So clearly, they're setting up.
That was done with purpose, I would assume, unless it was just like it's Wakanda, kind of a wink. But I don't know. I mean, I hope. I'm sure. I mean, look, they're doing 3 seasons, right? So that's
I guess so.
Yeah,
wouldn't it be? I would have preferred it hilarious. Because remember, Wakanda, they knew Wakanda was real, but they didn't know how advanced it is, and I don't think they revealed it yet. I would have loved it if she said Rwanda until they find out she's like, did I say Rwanda? I meant Wakanda. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was like, that would have been fun. But that's
But no one knows about Wakanda. I guess they don't know what Wakanda really is. But no, listen, it's a cool show. It's really well done. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised and stuff. And it's more geared to a younger audience, but not too young, like a 12, 13-year-old range kind of audience.
If you like Skeleton Crew, you're going to love Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman.
For sure. If you like Danger Squad, you will like.
Heck yeah, you're going to love Danger Squad. You're going to love it. Don't forget DangerSquad.com. Buy that book, guys. ASAP Imagination, Anyone Publishing. Go check it out. DangerSquad.com. More stuff coming to you soon. Thank you so much, Jose. Appreciate the shout out.
What up? with that out of the way, yes, check out Danger Squad, and of course those other nuggets for the week.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love support you always give us. Don't forget to check out all the shows here at the Latin Network here on YouTube. We can watch Nerdsplaining, and you can watch The Watch List, and Thanos' Shorts, and more shows. And don't forget Danger Squad, like Jose just said. We got more stuff coming in. Let us know if you enjoyed the clues and all the extra things hidden on the website. Conspiracies and mysteries all around. Check it out. Be more stuff to talk to about you very, very soon about that as well. Don't forget to pick up my album, Adorably Offensive, on my website, ericdasilva.com, ERICDASILVA. All original audio episodes are there to listen to as well, for free for you, because we dig you. Don't forget to go to social medias, at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ on X. I know, we're going to set one up for Blue Sky. We're getting there, guys. Trust me, it's all the way there. But guys, that has been the show. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we thought. Let us know who was right, who was wrong. Give us your opinions. Anyway, my name's been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.